kind of like a push along lawnmower with needles on it. So you push it and it puts pinpricks into the skin. It causes micro traumas and then allows the skin to heal from the deepest level all the way up to the surface. So it won't necessarily get rid of your stretch marks if you have stretch marks, just presuming as I did from pregnancy, but it will make them softer, not as deep and indented, and drain the colour from them. So it, you know, as we age, as we go through life, we have wear and tear on our bodies. It's what makes us human. And I think pregnancy is such a beautiful thing. We just allow our bodies to heal and then look at core exercises. So something that was probably the easiest thing to do after having a baby without it hurting too much or being uncomfortable is to sit on a chair with a pushchair, the baby in the pushchair, and put your feet on the bottom of the pushchair and just push it in and out. That's what I did with my children. And it works your core muscles. You feel that contraction, but it's not the same as like sitting on the floor and doing a crunch or a sit up. You're then like rocking your baby. You can sing to them whilst you're working your lower abdominal muscles. So I would say to tone up, push the pushchair with your feet whilst you're sitting on a chair. Do some micro needling on your skin, which you can do from home, but please follow the instructions carefully or go to a clinic, which will obviously cost more. If it's scar revision of having had like a tummy tuck or a cesarean and the scar is raised and it's thick and it's discoloured, you can have that cut away and then a new scar made that's more gentle. I would also recommend using oil that you massage into it to try and help it to heal for those first 6 weeks of having the scar. And to tone up and build abs, that is definitely down to nutrition. So I would recommend a plant-based diet. I am vegan, so no dairy, no processed foods, no meat. Look at your sugar intake, look at your salt intake. That will cause you to bloat and carry body fat, especially as mothers. We carry it around the midsection. That's where we're built to be the most padded to protect our babies. So look at your nutrition, make meals from home, and doing those things together will just bring you back into alignment. And as you heal from childbirth, your body, you have to sleep, you have to rest, you have to let your skin renew, and just treat yourself with love and kindness. The more negative you are to yourself, the harder it is to kind of find that peace and balance. The kinder you are to yourself, the gentle things that you do to take care of yourself as you would take care of your own child, you fall in love with yourself again. You stop being your own worst enemy and critic, and you start being kind, and your body responds. It's incredible when you are on your own side rather than fighting the things that you don't like or the things that have changed from pregnancy. I hope some of that helps. Hardy is from Indonesia. Welcome. Ahil says, hi dear from India. Hi, welcome. Pankaj says, Tracy, so gorgeous. Oh, thank you. Sanaka says, good luck. Oh, thank you. Narul has said something in a different language that I can't read, but welcome. Stanley says, hello, beautiful. Hi there. James says, hi. Ibrahim says, hi. From Pakistan. Welcome. Ahil is from India. Oh, welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. James says, you look beautiful. Thank you. Eljo says, can you help me to your country to work, maybe a job in your house or a caretaker to your farm or farmer's field? I'm not capable of employing people from different countries, I'm afraid. I think you would need to apply for a work visa to the English government. So if you have like a search engine, I would definitely recommend typing into there, how can I work in a foreign country to where you live, and seeing what the suggestion is. I don't believe that you can, from the UK, take people from another country and employ them. They have to have the right to work in the UK. And that's not something I've ever attempted or known how to do. So I'm sorry, I can't help with that. But hopefully if you use a search engine, it might be able to suggest how you go about seeking that. And I wish you good luck with that for any country in the world that you want to work in, if it's first of all possible, and how long you're able to do that. I think some of my friends went travelling many moons ago now, and they went to Australia and had like a work visa for so many months. And then they had to leave. They weren't allowed to live there permanently. So whilst they were staying in a certain country, they had a kind of permission to work for a month or 6 weeks at a time. Then they had to move on. Otherwise you get in trouble or something. So it's not my field of expertise, I'm afraid, but I'm sure if you have a look online, it could suggest which are the most easiest visas to get and how long you can stay in each country. But that's a wonderful way to see the world, to travel around and work as you go, to pay for accommodation and then to go sightseeing. And some accommodations, I believe, could even be free. You just have to do so many hours of work on farms and things. But yes, if you find any of that out, please do share if anybody else would like to know more about it. Annabelle said, I had a feeding tube and other surgeries. I'm very sorry to hear that. That sounds very distressing. And I hope that you're okay now and that you were able to find peace and balance after going through that. That's not something I personally ever had. So I can't imagine what that must feel like, but what a blessing that you have come through that and that you can return to life again. I think that in itself, when we have these moments with our health and our life where we are unexpected towards incidents, accidents, injuries, or health scares that happen, we kind of take for granted that we will always be okay, that we can breathe and we can eat and we can sleep and we can walk. But one thing that does happen to us in life, things go wrong. We age, we have ailments, things deteriorate, our health deteriorates, and then we have to learn to live a completely different way. We have to readjust and kind of go with the flow, because change will always come and it will always happen in scary ways, ways that we didn't necessarily choose or want or would ever desire. But when it does come into our lives, it doesn't have to be the end of our life. It doesn't have to mean that we lose who we are. We can recover to the best of our abilities. We can be thankful for our blessings, and we can learn to live in a new way, to make adjustments and lifestyle changes that allow us to have a quality of life once more after having going through something that is absolutely life-changing. So I hope that all of you are able to see the positives in life, that silver lining on every cloud, regardless of how difficult life gets, how many challenges and obstacles come on your path. We are still so blessed to be here, so lucky to be alive, and so fortunate to have the freedom of choice in our lives, to be able to say that if something isn't working for us, if it's not what we want, if it's not where we see ourselves going, we can course correct. We can try something new. We can learn something new. We can get new qualifications, meet new people, try new things, and find that meaning and purpose in our lives. Narul says, why is this on the neck? Oh, so I had a mole removed on my neck. It was surgically removed, so cut out and stitched at the end of October. So I have like a little red bump here where it is the scar tissue of the mole being removed and sewn up. And once it's healed, it will lose its pinkness, return to natural skin colour and just relax down. So I'm definitely in the healing phase, 3 months on. But things like bio oil, I don't know if you have that in other countries around the world, are really good for skin that is healing or going through damage or injury. You massage it into it, has vitamins into it, and it just helps the skin to kind of return to a more natural, normal state. So if you do have bio oil, I definitely recommend that. Even just brushing your skin, massaging your skin, bringing that circulation, the blood flow to it, helps it to heal and do its job. So if you have an area of skin that is, as I say, red and new or injured, give it a gentle massage, rub oil into it, and allow that healing process to kind of speed up that little bit more. Obviously, if it's painful, stop. But when it gets to a certain point of healing and you're able to touch it without causing damage, helping that circulation really does make a difference. Roy says, hello, Tracy. Hi, Roy. Chuck says, hi. Hi there. Roy says it's Valentine's week. It definitely is. What do you guys have planned? What are you up to? And scrolling your comments, Navid says hi, and Daseng says, very beautiful, may you always be successful and healthy. Oh, thank you, and you too also. Taipur says, Monday morning to you too. I want to acknowledge you and thank you for sharing your story. Keep up the amazing work. Oh, thank you very much. It's so wonderful to see you all. And I hope your week is off to an amazing, amazing start. Naveed says, beautiful. Mushtaq says, I love you. Oh, thank you. And Guda says, hello. Hi there. Wolf says, hi, beautiful. Hi there. Roy has been eating carrots. Awesome. I love carrots. Carrots and hummus. Such a vibe. Please tell me that you love hummus too. I also just spat because I'm thinking about carrots and getting so excited. Scott says, hello from Dundee. Welcome, Scott. Northern neighbours. Mabisha says, good. Jayanta says, love you. And Jerome says, hi, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you all. Scrolling. I think I've almost caught up on your comments. Narul says, it's already midnight in Indonesia and Indonesia wants to rest. Oh, and I hope you have a very wonderful evening and sending love to Indonesia. Thank you for joining. Roy says green card. That might be what it's called actually to work abroad, but I've never tried to work abroad, but could be, is green card to live abroad or is green card to live in England? Maybe it's America as a green card. I have no idea. That's not my strong point, but I hope you find out. Paul says, I love the shoot. Let me know. Oh, thank you. Samuel says, how are you doing? Very well, thank you. How are you? Guido says, love. And Jayanta says, love you. Oh, thank you. So scrolling down, I think I've almost caught up with your comments. Let me try and get to the present moment so that I don't miss anything. Navid says, gorgeous. Thank you. Scrolling. Jamil says, nice. Thank you, Jamil. That's very kind. Looking for comments that I can read out. Appropriate social media comments, please. Scrolling for appropriate. Thank you, Gudu. I can see lots and lots of love. So many comments of love. Siraj says, come live with your children. They are relaxing now after being at college and school all day, so they're having a nice chilled out evening, and I'm going to join them now. Siraj says, come to visit India with your children. I would love to. I don't know how they would be with the temperature and things because it's a lot cooler in the UK, and they do struggle with hot days. So if there's a time of year when India is actually cold, do you ever get cold days in India? Like 15, 20 degrees, I think they could just about manage. Anything over 20 degrees, they are done. They are in air conditioning. Oh, game over. It's too warm for them. So if there's a time of year or part of India that isn't as hot, I think they may just manage it. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a solo trip. But thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Naveed says, you are a UK dream. Thank you. That's very kind. So sending love and light to you all. Be the positive change that you want to see. Be kind to yourself and kind to others. And I will see you all soon.